Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, the 18th of August, 2022, and I hope that the background noise is not too bad. Just bear with me through this. It's still early in the morning, but I'm not able to get good enough lighting before 7 in order to do these videos better, but it is what it is. This will be here for a long time. I'm talking about for anyone new on this channel, I'm talking about like this heavy equipment and machinery and bulldozers and plows and sea cans and a whole bunch of other things, like within 5 meters of my home, on a heritage site that was acres in length and size, and had hundreds or thousands of trees that were very, 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 very old and large and stuff like that. So they've been doing a lot of explosions and stuff, so I apologize for all of that when you hear it, because I know it's annoying because I deal with it a lot. Yeah, and so I just wanted to make some points out there for people to possibly consider. And it's that evil does not look like evil. And so there have been more people out there discussing this on social media. I think it's really, really interesting. It's definitely something that I firmly believe and experienced in my own life, right? Whether that be in my own personal life or through my career as well, right? And even if I'm doing threat assessments, because even in the infantry, right, this basic training stuff, like you're looking at enemies most likely, most dangerous, most lethal, like all these things. And then you're doing a combat estimate, and then you're assessing so many different factors, right? Enemy, friendly, terrain, weather, civilizations, religions, your cultures that you're in. There's so much, and then avenues of approach and flow cart and so many other things, that acronyms I'm throwing out there that people may or may not get. But anyway. And so even now in my present day, I could see how easy it is for even young people to look like old people, based on these new face coverings that people are putting on, that look masks or whatever, that look very realistic, right? Like artists are becoming very, very realistic, even with the sci-fi stuff, right? Like the aliens and these monsters that people are making. And it's really, really interesting. But that's why I don't even sometimes believe that people around are possibly who they're leading us to believe they are, right? Because even with wigs, right, you can change your looks, or grow a beard, cut your hair, different clothes, spray tans, you name it. There's so many different ways that you can alter your own appearance and look more vulnerable or less of a threat in order to exploit people. And so evil doesn't look like evil. So when people are shocked at some of the stuff that I say, what do you mean these people are lying to us? Or what do you mean these people are saying this and this is not what they mean? Or they're hurting us intentionally, or this. They can't, this would be found out by now, we would know about it, all this stuff. Just no, would you? With the majority, because throughout history, whenever we've been duped, it's always the majority, right? And that's why people get away with what they're doing. And even with cattle, I was talking about this, what is the difference between us blindly just living our lives, just saying oh, I don't want to know, and then at what point do you want to know, right? Is it when you are going in the trailers to go to the slaughterhouse from the farm? Is it when you're en route? You know what I mean? When you're oh, I don't want to know. Or in that little aisle thing that they have to go through before they get cut up. It's so barbaric. But when do you want to know, right? Or do you just not want to know and then just go through it? When, if you did know on the farm, you could have done something about it by just trying to escape, right? Or leave, or plan things with other people to get more people to safety, right? Cows, or to get more cows to safety, or whatever you want to call it, and so that they wouldn't meet this ending. And I also, there's so many people that are over consuming meat products, and so there's a lot of layers to this, right? We've got to consume less, and we have to be better to all of our species, but we also have to be better to ourselves, right? And so I get a lot of people pushing back, even in multiple levels of government, that should know the information that I know, and they don't even look at it. They're nope, and I get it, because these are people of service, and they've been of service their whole lives, right? And it's just there's a lot, right? But I don't have anyone else to give this stuff to, because the people that like have not been in this, you know what I mean, or shown that they've been into this or interested in this throughout their lives, and then like they're not the ones I can give this stuff to, right? Because it's not something that's going to serve them, benefit them. They're not going to understand it. They're not going to be able to respond or react as effectively and make better decisions for Canadians, right? So if you're in a position of government or leadership in any capacity, like I do recommend people at least like look at the links that I share or the data, or have a coffee with me, and we can discuss ulterior or alternate solutions to what's going on. And yes, the world can be scary. I get that as well. And I was just saying that yesterday too to another friend who just, again, he just says, I have my own shit to deal with right now. I can't deal with this stuff. And I have to respect it, and I do, because I get it. And he's so busy, and he's, again, been of service his whole life, and it's just a lot. And but yeah, it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make this doesn't help, you know what I mean, anyone, but whatever. But there's only so much people can do, right? Like, and this is why, like, even yesterday with the example of that person that's going through the release, the soldier, that he had multiple deployments, PTSD, brain injury too, because of explosions. I can relate to that stuff too. Yeah, like this, this emotionally, physically, and spiritually weak person that was supposed to be a healer and supportive, no matter how long it took and how, you know, patient you had to be, whatever. Just thought that the solution was for him to euthanize himself. Oh my God, I'm still get infuriated. So I'm just gonna leave that and say again that that's not the answer either. Even if it takes him his whole life to heal, he's still gonna be of service, right? Like, he may need a few years to like unpack a lot of stuff, because again, he's been chronically inflamed, and he's been you know, using his executive functioning skills like at high capacity for, you know, many years likely, and then high stress, you know, fight or flight, you know, stimulated responses like on a physiological and subconscious level too, because of, you know, because of the layers being in war and the brain injury stuff, like. And so I don't really care if it costs all my taxpayers money to go to him, you know what I mean, to go on a fucking paradise island and like heal there and meditate every single day, you know what I mean? Like I think he deserves that. I think he deserves more than that. We have people that sit 4 years in government that do nothing, like Vera Etches and Patty Haju or whatever, or going longer and just switch cabinet positions into other, you know, like departments, and they mess that up, you know what I mean, and then like switch it over, and then they get full pensions, right, and they get to travel on our dime, and get protection on our dime, and driven on our dime, and food and childcare and all that stuff on our dime, yours and mine, the ones that are service, going and deploying, risking our lives on a daily basis, all this other stuff. And yeah, and they're the ones that are having these lives, right? That are like look where our PM is, Costa Rica still. You know what I mean? For 3 weeks, must be nice. Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking at notes again. So like it just we're talking about COVID again, and so because of that, like I'm gonna get that like COVID notice like on my description box. Oh yeah, and so for yesterday's like back article through Mercedes Stevenson, I did post like 2 different links in this description box yesterday when I posted it. So I hope that people are looking at the description boxes, because I not only gave the article itself, but I gave the Twitter feed, because then you can see a lot of comments and feedback, and then more, you know, stories and stuff like that too, because it's always good to not just get an article, but then to also get the like the feedback, right? And so that is something that I'm always interested in as well as who wrote the articles, when, why, from what mainstream media department. And so there's a difference between symptomatic and asymptomatic people. And so when I say asymptomatic versus symptomatic regarding health and the spread of disease and illness, like symptomatic people are more at risk of spreading, obviously, because of many reasons, right? And depending on the symptoms, if you're coughing a lot, if you're sneezing a lot, if you're, you know, there's a lot of mucus, you know what I mean, or whatever, and there's like, so it's like easier for you to transmit, or easier for you to get adverse side effects based on these illnesses or diseases because of your lifestyle choices and other circumstances. So for example, if you are overweight or obese, or have, you know, like diabetes or lung issues or heart issues already, or don't work out, don't eat well, don't rest well, don't meditate, don't manage your stress, don't hydrate, don't filter your water if you don't go outside, for at least an hour a day, because there's no excuses for this, to get, sunlight or moonlight. If you're not doing these things, then you're more at risk of being of spreading, of being more symptomatic for any disease or illness that you get, or any injury. Even if it's a cut, it's going to take you longer to heal, and then as opposed to someone who would be asymptomatic, right? So like for any disease or illness that would be incurred or whatever, these people would be the ones that take care of their health and fitness at at higher levels, like first responder types, military, law enforcement. These people, these people like don't spread, right? Because if and when they do contact, whatever, they're not as likely again to have these like chronic inflammation, like more like white blood cells like being developed, and the need for antibodies and stuff like that, because like we're not chronically inflamed too, right? So people that are chronically inflamed, they're already impacting their cytokine storm. So so when you introduce another illness above and beyond already existing illnesses or injuries, you're just like overly exhausting or overly taxing your body. And vaccine effectiveness or any therapeutic effectiveness is host and ingredient dependent. And given my age, my health status, the fact that my BMI right now is probably at like 18 or 19%, which is athlete level. And when I'm competing on stage, I've gone down to like 11% body fat. And I've also been, 23% body fat. And I can make assessments. And I've been, overweight as well too when I was a teenager and working and going to school and stressed out and stress eating. Until I was like, wow, okay, this is like a change I need to make in my life, and I didn't look back. But it was only a small period of time, luckily for me. So I could go on about asymptomatic versus symptomatic spread. Therapeutics as well, they cause spread of certain diseases and viruses, obviously, like even with the flu, like you get a partial virus, of the flu, of the variant, from the previous year. This is all again, like if you don't mass inoculate people when you know that it causes the spread and causes people to get sick, and depending on the severity of their own illnesses and their lifestyle choices, it's going to be even more sick and then spread more. This is why, like, if we don't give a lot of flu shots, we don't get a lot of flu patients. When we don't give a lot of other therapeutics, we don't get a lot of those patients, unless we're giving false positives, unless we're overly overcycling the tests that have been proven time and time again to be ineffective. And also, like, if you want, like, ask for a mouth swab instead of a nose swab, a nasal swab, and you can ask for cotton, and instead of having these like fiber material swabs that they use, because these are also causing damage and health issues, and even with the masks, like causing the microplastics and like so many other things that are in these masks, they're actually now being found in cadavers and in people's like deep in lung tissue and heart tissue. These are all concerning things, and it's attributed to the mask. And so, not soil, not the air, it's anyway, I will stop venting with this stuff. But so like if there's anything else like comes out in the next few months, like my recommendation is to supplement if you're not getting your proper micronutrients in your diet. Organic is the way to go, because you're not getting the harmful chemicals and steroids and antibiotics and pesticides and so many other things introduced into your microbiome, or whatever you want to call it. And I recommend people fast too for periods of time, and to filter in the water, and eating again more fruits and vegetables, and less processed foods, less sugar. And if you get sugar, or want sugar, get it from more natural sources, and just managing our consumption more in all aspects of our life, and me included, right? Like I'm talking about myself as well. And lockdowns and being confined to a space, especially indoors, this is not the answer. This is not healthy for anyone, right? And so I hope that the people that we have in right now, I hope that at some point in the near future they get fired. All of them, they need to be fired. But before they do, they owe it to us to give good handovers to people that would be replacing them. And I think that these people should be hired by someone who we can trust and who's known to be trusted, and whose network of people that they would consider are also people that we can trust, right? Because for me, like I definitely, there's people in my life that I've known for many, many years, and like I've been to war with them. I've done training stuff with them. Like I've been in other, crazy situations with them, even here at home, and I trust them with my lives. And so if they tell me that I can trust someone, then I know I can trust them, right? And so it would be the same thing for government. Like, so for example, if someone in government really checked all the boxes, all of them, spiritually, mentally, like physically, then yeah, like I would be interested to see who they hire, and people that, again, like we cannot have honesty, openness, no corruption, no scandals, and if there's like stuff that comes out of the media about these people, we need to be more reasonable with our reactions, because like even for like I don't want to say like minor things, but like no one's perfect. Everyone listening to this, you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, and so there are people that have been in service for many, many years that have done a lot of things, that have a lot of certifications, that have done a lot of brave things, and long hours away from home, and sacrificed having families or divorces, and lost people they've loved, and all of these things, right? And they've done it for all of us. And so if they've messed up, you know what I mean, for like minor things, then we can't just fire them or just like completely character assassinate them, or just completely dismiss them, because they still are when is enough enough? I don't know, how much can someone prove that they want a second chance before we allow them, right? How much do people have to do before we actually forgive them? Like even in relationships, even if there's cheating, for example, like how much does your partner have to do on a regular basis before you stop the shame and the guilt and the resentment and the bringing it up and like all this stuff? Because again, like none of that works either. It's either you forgive and you forget, or not forget, you know what I mean, but like move on if it's meaningful enough, or you make the split, right? Because being together in a toxic relationship just makes not only you guys more toxic, but then everyone around you as well, right? Like even with fruits and vegetables, if like there's one moldy one, even a little bit moldy, like it can rot on its own if it's away from the others, but if it touches others, like ripe, fruits or vegetables, like then that causes like the spread of the mold and stuff like that, and it causes them other ones to be moldy. But you can also just like cut off that little piece of mold and then like eat it. You know what? Anyways, I'm not gonna go on these crazy ass analogies all day, but I did also want to bring up that there's been a lot more media regarding doctors and nurses and people from different drug marts or shoppers, whatever, that are getting confronted by people that have either had vaccine injuries and they completely dismissed it or didn't care or didn't let them know and blah blah blah, or people that they know or loved died, and these are the doctors or nurses or people that gave the therapeutics or said that they were safe or all these other things, and misleading information. And so it's getting wild out there. I do understand where people are coming from. Peace is the answer, but I definitely think that holding people accountable and confronting people with emails, phone calls, even in person, is needed, because clearly nothing else has been working. All the emails, all the phone calls, still keep doing that. I'm hoping that more and more people do that, because that's the only way ahead. And then you also have a record, right? So like if you send emails to like your members of government, it's easy to do. You just Google search their names, contact information, and then you can get phone numbers, likely always, and then emails where they can be reached, or their office, and then just keep trying. and then you have a record, right? So then you have like a show of like your phone logs or your messages or your sent emails, and then you could share this if you ever need it or want it, right? It's always good to have a record. And so yeah, if there are people that are intentionally harming people or harming people because they're too lazy to listen to the people that have been screaming at them for the last 2.5 years, because again, it's like not like, oh, I didn't hear anyone say that the vaccines were causing harm. Oh, I didn't hear anyone talk about like not aspirating needles. Oh, really? Are there actually people like that are not vaccinated? Like, no. So like, if you, like, so at this point, with so much information coming out, and like even like the toxic like narrative on the Toronto Star last year, that I shared yesterday, there's no excuses for you to at least not consider looking more into why that's out there, and instead of just dismissing it, including my family doctor, Dr. Tan, who I'm getting a call coming, but like and I won't say his first name or anything like that. And I won't, but I will say that he's my family doctor. He's given me a lot of misinformation regarding this therapeutic. There was another alternative that he wanted to give me that I also knew in studies that it's already been through that it was not going to be an effective one, which was frustrating. And I was offering to give him so much information on like the about even like the aspirating the needles, and then the trials that came out even in March of this year, the Pfizer's original trials, and just for him to like even look at the side effects and stuff like that, and he even admitted, he's like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even get off Google. He's like, I don't even know, like he's never even heard of DuckDuckGo and Brave, essentially, so he doesn't go off of censored browsers, and he didn't even look at any of anything beyond. I don't even think he looked at any like old like mRNA like vaccine like trials, even, and I was sharing that as well. And yeah, try to email it to his office and offer that, or email to him on a work business email so that he can like click all the links, right? And instead he's like, oh no, can you like print them all off and send it to my office in a confidential envelope? Good day, sir. And I'll fucking bill you too. How about that? Yeah, you charge us enough. I'll give you the confidential mail, charge you for the paper, the time with my fucking printer, because I have to work from home now, like this little ass fucking Best Buy one. It takes 10 hours to print one sheet of paper. Yeah, so I'll print off thousands of sheets of paper for you, or hundreds, and put it in confidential, and you're not even going to read it anyways, just because you don't want to do any of your work, even though you're offering this to how many patients? Recommending it to how many patients? So on that note, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.